Hi there everybody, how is everyone doing today? I hope you're all okay. I'm just jumping on quickly to do a video just because the last couple of days in clinic have been literally all wellness clinics. I've not needed to break out the needles for a couple of days, which is quite unusual. But mainly it's been menopause patients that I've been seeing in clinic. And I just wanted to sort of come on and explain what my patients come to me with from a menopause point of view. So I see ladies usually from the age of 45 who are experiencing symptoms of the perimenopause or the menopause. So that could be before their periods have completely stopped or after they have been stopped for over a year and any point on the spectrum in between. And I often see ladies who are predominantly experiencing symptoms that include night sweats, hot flushes, intense anger and rage, really reduced sex drives, some intimate soreness, which can be a real problem for ladies, and that can often then cause repeated urinary tract infections or water infections. They can be one of the classic things that I hear constantly is I'm just not feeling myself. I'm just feeling disinterested in things that used to interest me. I'm just feeling flat. And the classic line, I don't want to go out, I'd just rather be in my pajamas. And nearly everybody who comes to see me or who I see online, because these consultations can be done online, so I have patients all over the country for menopause, nearly everybody says the same thing. And I completely get it, I totally understand and I can really empathise. And I just find it extremely sad that at the moment in this day and age, we don't have access to all of this information for everybody, that they can manage these symptoms, that we can actually fix these symptoms and do something about it. I've just had a lady in clinic this afternoon, very recently started on HRT, and our consultation was actually quite short because, actually all of my symptoms are pretty much resolved. There's a couple of little bits and pieces we still need to work on, but most of her symptoms had gone within a month of starting treatment with me, which thrills me because you just see the difference it makes in people's demeanour, in people's lives, in the energy they radiate, and that spills out, doesn't it, into the rest of your life, into all of your contacts, into your family and your friends and everybody you're in touch with. That lift in the mood really impacts other people in a positive way as well. So I just wanted to sort of highlight the issue that a lot of these symptoms that people are facing, that women are facing, sort of age 45 and older, are things that can be addressed. And some of them are symptoms that people don't really realise are symptoms of the menopause. Things like dry eyes that can be menopausal symptoms. Aching joints and muscles is a classic. Fatigue, really, really common. So, and there's about 36 basic common menopause symptoms, and then there's like dozens of others that are much less well known but are nonetheless quite common for people to experience, but obviously not as common as the other ones. When people come in for these consultations, initially we take a long time. It's usually at least an hour, sometimes quite significantly longer than an hour. We go through everything. So we talk about our whole, or the patient's whole lifestyle. We discuss everything from when they eat, when they sleep, what they eat, what their daily activities are, when they do what in terms of time throughout the day, stress levels, sleep, everything. We discuss all of these things. And then I write that all in a letter to the patient, because brain fog is a massive thing with menopause, and being able to remember everything that we've discussed and all the recommendations and things that come out of that can be really difficult. So I put that in a letter to the patient, and if there's any recommendations or if we're prescribing some HRT or anything like that, I also write to the patient's GP. And so with that, have this collaborative relationship. I work in partnership with a lot of GPs all over the country, because they don't, they're general practitioners. They're great at what they do, but they don't have this level of training that you do have as a menopause specialist. So I write to the GPs and explain what the patient's problems are, what their symptoms are, what I understand their medical history to be, because obviously if there's anything significant that the patient has maybe forgotten to tell me, I might need to know about that. It might not necessarily be appropriate for me to prescribe certain medications and things like that. So I write to the GP and we work together to make sure that we're giving the right treatment to the patients. Usually say to my ladies, expect to take about 6 months of playing around with your HRT, if that's the option that we choose, in order to get it right for you. It has to be sort of perfectly balanced. So expecting HRT to work in the way that antibiotics might, where you have a problem, you take the antibiotics and it's fixed. It's not often that it works like that. More often than not, we need to play around with the dosages, and even the intricacies of the different brands of HRT and things like that. We might need to adjust with the patient use in order to get this perfect for the patient. But then once we have, things are usually really very good. So I follow my patients up every month, so that we can see what's going on and see where the trend is going and make those subtle adjustments that need to be made as we go along. Normally in the NHS, you would get followed up after about 6 months or 3 months, which is an awful long time to be left, particularly if you're having these very, very distressing symptoms. So I generally see my ladies or touch base with them every month until we've got things nailed, until we've got things at a perfect level. And then we'll keep in contact every 6 months or so, just to make sure that we're maintaining things at that level, and if anything needs tweaking, we can do that. But it's been fabulous this afternoon to have a lady come in that's been, on HRT for a very short period of time, who feels amazing, and it's just getting better and better for her. Some of my other ladies that I've seen over the last couple of days, we're doing a little bit more fine tuning with, and that is equally normal and to be expected. So the message from today really is, please don't struggle. If you are struggling with your menopausal or perimenopausal symptoms, please see somebody to get some help. And if your GP can't help you, there are clinics out there that can. I know private clinics obviously have a bit more of a financial hit, but sometimes, if you can stretch to that, it really is worth it to not have to live with a depleted quality of life, which a lot of women are doing. And there is help available for you, and I'd be more than delighted to support you on your journey. So take care. If you are a lady in this stage of your life and want to have a conversation, we'd love to hear from you. And think it's also really important, whether you are, a man or a woman, and whatever age you are, we all know somebody who will be going through these challenges and these stages and experiencing these symptoms. And the more that we can talk about this and the more that we can normalise it, the more people are going to be able to feel that they can reach out and get help. Don't forget, go back a few years, and women didn't have to struggle with the menopause like they do today, because most of them had died by the time they sort of really got onto a postmenopausal phase of their lives. Life expectancy was much, much shorter. You're talking about menopause was around about the age of 50, and the life expectancy not that long ago for women was around about 55. So these days women can be living postmenopausal for another 50 years, and that shouldn't be something that handicaps them. They shouldn't have to be living in a terrible state of managing symptoms every single day. We have options. There are options available, and there are people who can help. So I shall leave you to ponder on that, and I hope the rest of your week goes really, really well. Take care. Goodbye.